Oh, good morning. We are live with the Sales View Talk Show. I want to educate the masses on the great life that I've had in sales and want you to understand how you can get into sales as well.
My mission is really to help individuals, sales professionals elevate their game and take it to the next level.
I am all in 100% because we need to change the pace of sales.
To show people how they can change how they sell without changing who they are.
What actions do we take to actually see different outcomes? That is the question.
Hi, I'm Lindsay.
I'm Larry.
And I'm Joyce, and this is the Sales View. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hey, the team did the marketing this week. They said it was our 5th show. I was like, already?
5 already. Oh,
already. Yes. High five. Oh, that is great. Thanks for joining us this morning. This morning's topic, if we have a topic, because we're jabblers. We all have the gift of gab. So this morning's show is all about finding sales advocates. And where are they? Who are they? And, if there's a need for sales advocacy. So, I want Lindsay to kick it off. And Lindsay, where do you find sales advocates? What's a sales advocate to you?
Okay, thanks, Joyce. So, sales advocate to me is someone who's going to step up and kind of say, sales is an important job. It's a great role to have, and here's all the things that you can learn from it. So, I think people can advocate kind of on two sides almost. There's the taking people and bringing them into sales, exposing them to that profession, but then there's also the sales advocate piece for those who are already in sales. So, I think we've all talked about it. Sometimes, I don't know why, we don't get the respect that we deserve in sales. And so we need to find those advocates, those mentors, those sponsors who recognize those skills and can advocate for us in sales when we're there.
I agree with that. And I'm just laughing at myself. I'm going wild on the StreamYard button here. So.
I love it. We got to keep them on their toes.
Yeah.
I am not. I know you guys probably think I'm trying to, do a music video or something, and I'm not. I am not. I was just trying to make Lindsay like the face on there. So I'm going to try it again. Hey, Larry, talk to us.
Yeah, so I agree with Lindsay. And when I think about advocates, I had to take it to Webster and Oxford for the definition. And what really stood out to me is it's an advocate is one who pleads. And that word pleads is so important because it pleads the cause of another. It's one who defends or maintains for a cause or a proposal, and that cause is you. It's you. It's me. I love mentors. Mentors are good. They help support you. I love supporters. They do exactly what the name says, and I love sponsors. But that next level is an advocate that's going to step up and plead, that's going to go and defend you when you're not there. And when you think about people of color, at least when I think about people of color, when I think about women in sales, we need the non-people of color and the non-women to plead, to defend, to say, you know what? I got your back. And when you're not there in those meetings, we know those meetings go on, yes, whether it's in the office or the back channel. I don't know if y'all can see, but there's barbecues that go on that I don't get an invite to. I'm chilling at the pool. I don't know how I snuck in, but I need someone else to have my name in their mouth and to be throwing some respect on it. Kind of like what Birdman said. Brr, what happened to that boy? So that's my thought when I think about advocates.
I agree, Larry. I say all the time, those conversations that happen when you're not in a room, who's advocating for you? Who's your champion? I refer to myself as a sales champion, right? And so, and I think that's because I was looking at the word advocate and things like that. And I said, champion is a more, spunky word, more positive spin and what have you. And, but, I think that you're absolutely right. It is that person that's advocating for you, is past the sponsorship, is when the sponsor is in the room and they're saying, yes, I know a person who could be in this role, but when they follow up, right? When they follow up and they say, hey, this person, and they kind of take you over there. Yes, Larry's the guy. Larry can do this. He's who you need. And they're really, like I said, advocating for you. If you think about agencies that are out there for child advocacy and for senior advocacy and how they show up for the kids and how they show up for the seniors, that's what we need at every level in the corporate environment.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I love you guys' thoughts on that.
Yeah, we can't do it alone. And I love what Lindsay said. I'm a member of Sales for the Culture, and we've got two really core themes. Number one is we want to get more people of color, predominantly Black. We want to get more Black sellers into tech sales. So that's the one side. Number two is once we get them in, we want to make sure that we support them, that we advocate for them, that we mentor them so that they can then have success. Because when you're doing it without that advocacy, when you're doing it without that support, it's oh so hard. And we've all been there. We've all been through the twists and turns, the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations. And when you can have that advocacy, that road just becomes a lot more smooth, which I would wish upon everybody. And I hope that everyone has that same opportunity.
Yeah. And I think one thing I wanted to pull out too is that you need advocates who are willing to put themselves out there for you, right? They're willing to use their clout and right or wrong, their power to bring others up, and others that, don't necessarily look like them, right? That's what we're asking. And I think, a lot of people, I think they don't think that they struggle with that, but unconsciously they do. And so that's the change that I think needs to happen too. It's like, let's get out of our own heads. Let's look around and open our eyes and figure out how are we gonna do this, and who can I help, who deserves it, but is not getting their fair shot.
Right. And, I know that we're all advocates, right? We are sales advocates, right? That's what we do. We advocate for people in different roles. I advocate a lot, for our young people in the corporate environment. When I was in corporate, I remember one time thinking about leaving an organization, and I was like, well, if I leave, who's going to take care of the babies, right? Who's going to have their back? I'm about to, pass the baton quickly. And then also, I advocate for college students. You guys know, college students, I say all the time, my favorite people in the world. And I'm trying to find advocates there. So, as I mentioned before we hopped on, and I want to say good morning to our audience. Good morning, you guys, for joining us. I want to go and I advocate to the career placement departments, the business schools, those people who are going to be nurturing those young people as they go out on their careers. And I want them to be great advocates of those young people, and especially support them if they're wanting to go into a role in sales, right? Because a lot of times I'm finding they're not supporting them if they are going into a role of sales because they don't really understand sales. So my job is to find advocates and to build and grow and train people to become advocates at that level. So, I want to hear from two of you. Who are you grooming to become advocates? Where do you find them, and how do you get them there, Lindsay?
Oh my goodness, Joyce. Okay. So I think for me, I come at it from more of a corporate perspective, right? Like that's where I've been. So a lot of our advocates, I think we find them almost outside of sales. So in the corporate environment, they might be in some of the other departments that are tangential to sales. Like maybe it's someone in marketing, maybe it's somebody in operations who did a stint in sales or business development or something like that. So I think we need to look for those advocates that aren't directly in the selling profession right now, but maybe have done a bit of it in the past, or because of their role, see the value in it and understand it so that they can talk people into sales. Or not talk people into sales, but keep them in sales, understand their value, stick up for them.
Right. I totally agree. Larry, what you got, Larry?
Oh, I love it. And I want to give a shout out for folks that are tuning in. You might notice that we're missing someone. Heidi, we're thinking about you. Heidi is taking care of business. So she's not with us this week. I also want to say thank you to those that have joined. Feel free to let us know where you're tuning in from. I'm talking to you, Shawanda. I'm talking to you, Janice. Thank you so much for tuning in. But in terms of who am I advocate for everyone. I want to make sure everyone gets a fair shot. And now that I'm not in corporate, now that I'm rocking the mic, or I got 2 mics here, can you hear me now? I'm on a mission to positively impact as many individuals. Last night, I was talking to a group of 36 teenagers in Fayetteville, North Carolina, sharing with them that, hey, whatever avenue you want to take, let's get it. And presenting to them that tech sales is a lucrative career, if you know what I mean. I mean, we're about to get this thing on and popping. So if you're used to hustling, which in this neighborhood, they got to be hustlers, they got to be street smart. Why not use those talents in sales? And if you need help, you can call your boy Larry Long Jr. So that's how we're trying to get down.
Yeah, Larry, you just gave me a little chill there. I love that. I love, like I said, talking to the young people and letting them know that they have someone. And, often when I do something to help someone calls in a favor for me or something, they say, "Oh, Joyce, what can I do for you? How can I help you?" or whatever. And I always say, just answer your phone, right? Just answer your phone, because I may send someone to you who you can help. Right. Mm-hmm. And so just answer your phone. And so I love that, Larry. And I love that you put yourself out there, to be there for them as a resource.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Joyce, I had a question on your kind of last comment about the college kind of university guidance type people who are putting people onto a career path after university. Because I don't know, like, my perspective is that there aren't a ton of sales programs out there. I think they're coming, we're seeing more of them. But so how, in your role, how do you influence those people to get people into sales, to have people learn about sales instead of, I hear the general business or marketing or something like that? I'm interested.
Yeah, it's a lot, because, when you first, reach out to them, you're wanting to go in and talk about sales, and you almost have to pitch a different topic to them so you can talk about, just so you can get in a room and then talk about sales, right? And so what the strategy I've been using with them, one is adding them to my mailing list, right? So that I can, help them understand how their role really is a sales job, right? And how their role, they are, and the better they get at sales, the better they will be at their job, because their job is really selling these young people on careers, selling them on the fact that they could be successful after college, selling them on the fact to stay in college and to stay focused on the path. And so I put them on my mailing list. I stay in touch with them. I'm reaching out to some of them now, actually, so that I can engage them on my different platforms. I want to put them on my platforms and have them next month. Our webinar for Y Sales Network is going to be talking about student sales programs in colleges. There are colleges that have sales programs, and reaching out to those people. And the hopes for that is that when the other collegiate directors or deans or what have you, business schools see them, that they will think, oh, we need to talk about this with our students as well. When we throw the stats out to them about jobs and sales and opportunities in sales and average sales earnings. And so, as I share with the team all the time, my job is to inform, educate, and engage them best as possible. So I'm constantly informing them and sending information, educating them on what sales is by sending them things from my platform. And now I thought about that engagement level, and that engagement level is going to be inviting them to different platforms that I'm on to hear their voice. Give them an opportunity to write something in our newsletter. We're reformatting a newsletter. So, those type of things towards engagement. Thanks for asking.
So interestingly, you're becoming an advocate for them by trying to make them advocates for sales. That's kind of cool.
That's it.
I love it.
Everyone needs an advocate.
Yeah. Everybody does. Yeah.
Everyone needs an advocate, you know. So yes, I'm becoming an advocate for them. I hadn't thought that way, but I'm becoming an advocate for them. You know, like I said, we're revamping the newsletter, and I said, hey, you know, thought to myself, let me reach out to them and see if they like to write an article. You know, like to put something. We're going to open up that opportunity instead of doing the newsletter weekly. We're going to make it, you know, a monthly a newsletter that has more information in it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that works, how that engagement takes place. But that's what the path now. You know, I want to hop back over to corporate for a minute because we got a hot topic with corporate. You know, not to, I don't want Wendy Williams coming after me, Wendy. I'm just saying it's pretty hot, right? It is pretty hot. But, you know, I was having lunch with someone from corporate last week, and they said to me, wow, BRGs, business resource groups, employee resource groups, depending on which company you're with, what they name them, is the biggest waste of corporate money and time. That was their thought, and that they saw no value in having employee resource groups. And it really made me come home and think about it a little bit more after having that conversation. And I'll tell you, when I asked why, you know, one, she said, I don't think they get anything done, I believe was the answer. And two, that it you know, it sort of divides more than bring together. And so I'd like to hear from you guys on your thoughts of, you know, are they, because to me, they are the group these are the groups you go to when you need someone to advocate for you. And maybe we just answered that question for her, right? So Larry, I see you about to burst. Bring it.
Oh, that is a hot take. And what I will say is, from that person's perspective, maybe it is a waste. I've seen it done well, and I've seen it not done well, where there was no sponsorship from the top. It was a check the box. And if it's check the box, bah humbug. Survey says, nah, you gotta, as an organization, and believe you me, people are smart. They can smell BS from a mile away. I've been at organizations that were just checking the box. There was no executive sponsorship. It was pretty much just on paper. No support. It's like, what are we doing? I mean, I can do this on my own. But if you're going to have a legitimate, a real deal supportive ERG, BRG, OPP, ABC, all the acronyms, whatever it is, you've got to have support from the top. That's just my belief. Because if you don't, then it's kind of like, what are we doing? I'm looking around. I'm saying, this is a waste of time. It's a waste of money. Go ahead and put that in my paycheck. Shoot, but if it's really supportive, there's programming, there's mentorship, there's that true relationship building, and then opportunity to grow within the organization. Watch out now, that's dynamite. But it really depends on, I've seen it done well and not done well. I'd love to hear, what are your thoughts, Lindsay? Because this is near and dear to your heart and your role.
I mean, I want to say off the bat, I did not see this question. This legitimately came from Joyce, if anybody's watching from my company, because this has been a hot topic lately for us too. And I think I second Larry's point. You know, that sponsorship from the top is extremely important. And I think that when a lot of people, the two complaints I hear about ERGs is it's just a party planning committee, or it's an echo chamber, right? It's the same people getting together, talking about their issues together, and it never kind of jumps out of that. And so what Larry's saying is super important, that sponsorship level, because that helps you address both of those, right? If you have a sponsor who's someone who's not necessarily in the group that the ERG is targeted to, they can help bring others into it, right? And also help promote some of your content out of it. Hey, these are the issues. The other thing that they can do is they can help you link what you're doing to the rest of the business too. And I think, I don't know, maybe you don't even need a sponsor for that one, but I think the more that employee resource groups can say, like, we exist for a reason to, you know, advance the business, to advance inclusion and diversity, that's super important. Because that'll kind of, that's speaking to your audience, some of your audience at the top, right? Like, I hate to say it, but sometimes that's what it's about. It's about speaking to that audience. And so, Joyce, you actually put me onto this. I remember when we started talking about this show, I was talking about diversity. We need a diverse group. We need a diverse group. And you said, no, Lindsay, we need an inclusive group. And so I think that's the other benefit that ERGs bring is that if they can grow that culture of inclusivity and belonging, then they're going to do their job to bring diversity in as a result and add to the diversity of thought at the company, which is really how you get all these great results that everybody talks about. So Joyce, you're the one who turned me on to that in the first place.
Because I like I said, I worked Charlotte's Nights in corporate as an advocate. And, initially being responsible for national events for the African American Business Resource Group and ending my stint there as the vice president. And so when we had those events, I wanted to make sure that there was a learning, right? That we were teaching people, like I said, inform, educating, and engaging all audiences in the culture, the African American culture, and what we were, what our challenges were, what our loves were, what we felt great about, why we did the things that we did, to help them understand and relate. And so when we had those national events, we invited everyone to the room, right? We invited everyone to come and participate, whether it was singing of the Negro National Anthem for the first time. The first event I put together, we sang that, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, Joyce, you may get fired after this." And I'll say, "Okay, well, I'll have to take that, right?" Because my mom said you can't have a Black History event without singing the Negro National Anthem, and I'm going to call it what it is, right? Everyone else call it whatever they want. I'm going to call it what it is, and so. One of our other events where I had everyone, I'm a writer, you guys know that. So I interviewed different groups, the African American male, the veteran, the Hispanic male, the white female, the gay lesbian representative, what have you. And I put their words into poetry about how they felt excluded in life and environments. And I actually added those to my last book, No Back Doors for Me. I think it's the last chapter, chapter 4 last, is titled Please Include Me. And so what I wrote was Please Include Me. And that was the theme of it. And I had everyone come in the room in these black hoodies and no one could see who they were. And they said their poem with their back to the audience. So no one who knew who they were. And so then at the last person that spoke at the mic and colored down, after she said hers, and she was an Asian American whose family had been sponsored to come over, by a church in North Carolina, I believe. And after she told her story of her husband being also another person of color and diverse, and then her children and different things, and she said, this is who I am, please include me. And everyone said at the same time, please include me. And it gives me chills thinking about it. But I put those points at the end of my book because I want people to understand that, yes, the BRG role is to support people that look alike, have like thoughts, have like experiences and what have you, but also to educate the people who don't, and to bring them into the environment and help the company and organization build that inclusivity. And the only way you're going to do that is by, I keep saying it, my college mentor is like, she's like, yes, if she's out there, she's like, yes, because she taught me this: inform, educating, and engaging, the audiences. And I think with the BRGs and ERGs, whatever couple that do the best work, and they really do. They are advocates, and they are the best advocates of the organization.
I love everything that you said, Joyce. Lindsay as well. I know that we talk about DEI. I heard from a young lady, Sharon, who said IDEA, inclusivity, diversity, equity. It's just so important. Oh goodness, belonging, relationships for everybody. I'm sure that we can all relate to being the only. That's tough when you're in a place and you're the only.
I'm losing Larry. Are you losing
Larry? Are not as welcoming, not as accepting, and it's kind of like everyone's at the cookout at the pool, and you're stuck over there. It's like, where's my invite? I thought I was part of the team. So I think they play an important role really when it ties into advocacy, inclusivity, and really allowing everyone to feel part of the organization.
Yeah, I think you make a good point there that I want to build on a little bit too, Larry. I think, a lot of people, when I talk to them about how can I be an advocate, how can I be a sponsor, they do, like, they ask the how. Okay, I get it. I get why this is important, but how do I do it? And, I always say, well, attending an ERG or attending a BRG is the first step, right? Like, that's only the first step, but like, go out and do that. And then also, to your point, put yourself in their shoes. And if you're not good at that, because not everybody is, here's a thought. Like, think about a time in your life when you weren't included, when you were the one left out. My husband's a lefty, so I use that one all the time, right? Like, there's so much in this world that was not made for left-handed people. And how does that make him feel? And how would he change that, right? Like, that's kind of the thinking, the critical thinking we have to do so that we understand how we can include others and advocate for them.
I love it. I love the lefty one because my cousin's a lefty. She complains about that all the time. When I'm speaking to college students about the no back doors for me, part of my engagement on that is that I have this app and they all, respond, and their responses come to me in an app. And so the first question I pose to them is that, when was the first time you felt excluded from a group?
That's right.
And I let everyone respond. And then after I come back to them, I say, when was the first time you made someone else feel excluded? And there's pause, there's quiet, but they begin to respond. They begin to think. And I've had college students come back and tell me that, that after they thought about that, they felt bad. And I said, well, don't feel bad, do better. Feel bad, but then do better. And now think about, what can you do to make this better for someone else, right? What can you do to make this better for someone else? Because I think that we've all been on both sides. I think, we've all been on the side where we've been excluded and on the side where we maybe made someone feel excluded, and I had a high school person reach out to me. I think it was like before our 10th year reunion. And I remember she called me. I was living in California at the time. My cousin had called me, it was before texting and things. My cousin had called me and said, hey, can I give this person your number? She wants your number. I'm like, what does she want my number for? That girl hated me for some reason. I never knew why, but she did. She called me, and she, now had been a young mother and things like that. And she said, I want to apologize for how I treated you in school. And I want to apologize. She said, for allowing other people to do it and standing aside. She said, because we never had a conversation. I never knew who you were. And she had heard me. Was in a room with some friends of mine who was saying, oh yeah, Joyce never could do this after school. Joyce never could do that. And she was like, yeah, she just never wanted to engage because she thought she was better than us, or, didn't want it, too busy to be with us. And my friend said, no, her grandmother was dying of cancer. Wow. So, think about that, and think about that. You never know what's taking place in someone's life. And, and also when you're thinking about just those things that make you exclude a person, always extend the invitation and allow a person to decline it.
That's right. That's right. I love it. And I think we have two kind of key questions as we discuss this. For me, I'm thinking, what will I do to be an advocate and make things better for someone else? And it's really actions. It's actions over words. Words are great, but your actions speak so loud, I can't hear what you're saying. And then the second one is, how can we make ERGs productive? How can we make them really centered around business outcomes? Because we know the executive team is generally focused on business outcomes. I'm a big believer that ERGs can be a key component to driving even greater business outcomes, but we need everyone to be able to see that clearly now.
I believe so too. And, I think so. I've seen where, BRGs have helped put together ad campaigns in their communities that was very responsive to show a company where they needed to maybe do some radio advertising because that particular community was radio. I've seen that and impacted dollars. And I've also seen BRGs just change the whole, help sway the culture and the feel. And I think that second one, Larry, is the harder one for corporate people to put a dollar value on. But I'm going to say today, it is a lot, it's priceless. That's right. And it's a lot more valuable. And then even the one that shows you how to generate that extra revenue, because when people feel good about where they are and what they do, they're more productive. So Lindsay, you know, guys, it's time already. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I know.
It is so easy to lose track of time. It's so easy to lose track of time. But you know, why don't you, Larry, would that be like a final thought for you? Can Lindsay go ahead now, or you have something else you want to throw out there?
That's my final thought. What can I do?
What can we do?
That's my takeaway.
But Larry, put that in our post. We need to put that one in a post too. You know, what can we do? Let's challenge our audience. What can we do? Lindsay?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had some of the same takeaways as Larry. Like, what can I do? And for me, like painting that link to business. It's not easy. I'm trying to do some of it right now. It's not easy, but I believe that it's there. And I think maybe that's it too. Just getting people to believe that it will make a difference and understand that that you know, being an advocate is ultimately gonna impact our bottom line, gonna impact the business results.
Absolutely. And if I have a final thought, it's just to be an advocate. You know, be an advocate. Think about what that is. Like Larry said, think about what you can do and become an advocate. And you know, and that it does require action, as Larry said, it does require action and engagement. So just, you know, be an advocate. And that's how, and once we can be an advocate, we're going to find other advocates, and then we can even grow advocates. So that's it for us, folks. It has been a great show. Time goes by way too fast. Yay, great show, team. But time goes by way too fast. But that's it for us. And we're going to go ahead and
what actions do we take to actually see different outcomes? That is the question.
Welcome to the Sales View. Thank you for joining us. Well, that's it for us, folks. Oh, they didn't hear you.
The mute monster got her. I'm Larry.
And that's Lindsay. And I'm Joyce. You've been tuned into the Sales View. Thank you. Make it a great day.